Good to see everybody. Obviously, we're disappointed from Saturday, but we're not discouraged, so understand that. Uh-oh, I got a ding. I knew I was supposed to be in here on time, so my alarm's going off. I must have hit snooze instead of stop. Sorry about that. So, but we're disappointed, not discouraged. You know, when you go back, you know, as a coach, you analyze everything, okay? You analyze everything, and when you look at the game, obviously you're playing a good team, so that really magnifies any mistakes you make. But when you break down, I was just going through the first half, writing everything down, and you know, we gave them extra possessions twice on punt return, okay? So we block a punt, right, and get a holding call, and we did. We held. You know, we were guilty. You know, and we dropped a punt. That gives them 2 possessions. And then on punt team one time, we designed something where they jumped off, and if we just do what we're supposed to do right there, we get a first down. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember that in the game, where they were all in the neutral zone and we just kind of sat there. So that would have given us a first down to give us. That's 3 possessions right there in the first half. Okay, in the first half. The first drive offensively, we go right down the field. All right, getting the wrong formation. Okay, line up wrong. All right. That was where we threw the ball to Dev. He got down. It was going to be 3rd and 2 down on about the 8-yard line, I think it was. So get that call. So it's just, it became stuff like that. If I were to go through, I'm not going to go through every little thing, but the first half was just shooting ourselves in the foot constantly. Now, as a coach, I got to get them to stop doing that. So that's on me. But they also got to take responsibility as players. Okay, we got a veteran team, and they got to play better. Got to do the right things at the right time. So situational football, we shot ourselves in the foot so many times. We drop a punt, they go up 17-0. We could not have played any worse than we did in some of those situations. All right, but then we get ourselves together. We come right down the field. I mean, you couldn't do a 2-minute drive any better than they executed it. And we scored a touchdown, get a little momentum. Okay, right at the half, 17-7. All right, we come out in the second. They had a good look about them at halftime. All right, excited about playing, knew we had an opportunity. We go down the field and score. It's 17-14. After everything that had happened against a good team, we're down by 3 halfway through the 3rd quarter. From that point on, we didn't execute anymore, anywhere else. Okay, so, you know, whether it's running out of gas or just having to fight through so many things that you messed up and just not having enough to be able to push on through there, whatever it is, we got to do better. Okay, we got to do better. Our kids know that, you know, and it's really about, you know, us doing what we're supposed to do. It really is. And if you don't do that when you play good teams, you're not going to win. Period. You know, and Furman's got a good team. I think their quarterback was extremely efficient, made a lot of plays. They're very tough defensively. They're going to win a lot of games this fall. But we missed an opportunity Saturday to do better. You know, to play better and to have a chance to win in a playoff caliber contest. Like I said, I'm disappointed with the way we played. You know, it's my responsibility to get a lot of those things, you know, taken care of. And I need players to take responsibility for getting their jobs done. But I am not discouraged, okay? Because it ain't time to hit no panic mode, all right? We got to get better and play better, all right? So really for us this week, it's about us improving. Now, when you look at VMI, who we're getting ready to play, VMI is leading the conference right now statistically in defense. Okay, they're playing good. They really are. They just had a big conference win. They did not. I don't think they had a conference win last year, so they got some confidence. New coach. You know, kind of a similar situation to it was for us the first week. You know, a team that's playing that's won a couple games, got some kind of. They beat a playoff team in the first week when they beat Davidson, who was a playoff team last year, right? So, so they're a team that's playing well, playing with a lot of confidence. They'll spread us out. You know, on offense, they run kind of some air raid stuff and spread us out. So. It'll be a great challenge for us. We got to know what they're doing schematically. We got to understand who they are. I still think it's just like the Furman game was. It's going to be Mercer versus Mercer in a lot of ways. Can we get better? Can we be the very best we can be? That's all we can do, and we're going to demand that this week. Okay, that's going to be demanded. So we got a lot of great kids. We got a lot of returners. They want to play better. You know, there's no magic wand. We're going to go to work, and we're going to try to eliminate some of these mistakes that are killing us because we played ourselves right out of that game, and we're going to get better, and we're going to be in the thick of this thing before it's all over with. So that's all we can ask for right now. So questions for me.
Is there anything you can attribute that specifically to the mental mistakes where the guys just not being as locked in after the week off?
I don't know. I have beat myself over the head the last 2 days trying to figure out the psychiatry of getting people to go believe in themselves and do the very best that they can do. So some of it's trust, you know, which seems crazy considering we've been here for 4 years and all these guys are back and they've had a lot of success, but it's, you know, your confidence is a fragile thing. And confidence is also something you can, if you have some good things happen for you, you can gain real quickly. Maybe we tried to do too much. I can, you know, maybe it's that. Maybe we tried to, you know, we're trying to put them in situations and we did some formations that we didn't line up right, whatever it is. You know, so I got to take responsibility for a lot of that, but our kids are going to take responsibility for it too. You know, and we had a lot of practice time and we made some mistakes that there was no reason for it, none. You know, and football's hard enough, and playing in championship games against championship caliber people is hard enough when you do what you're supposed to do. You know, so it's continuing to be, you know, I'm going to sit up here and take, you know, I'm the head coach. I got to get them to do it, but they got to freaking do it. Okay, they got to do it. You know, and that's the bottom line. I can't play. All right, I'm going to love on them. I'm going to push them. I'm going to coach them as hard as I can. Our coaching staff is going to do that, but they got to go out and want to be great. You know, and whether that's, you know, a confident thing right now, or, you know, you can go around the room and there's 18 people got 18 different opinions about why we're not quite executing at a level we should be. It's a new quarterback. It's this. It's, you know, whatever it is. Man, all that stuff's out the way. Go freaking play. Go play good. You know, and that's going to be our message, and we're going to push them to do that.
And I know you talked last week about complimentary football. That's something you talked about a lot.
We certainly didn't compliment each other Saturday.
Do you feel when you guys are in a flow like that, when one unit is feeding off the other, you know, clearly that's something you guys still are getting towards, but how important is that aspect of your guys' success?
It's huge. It's huge for every team. It's huge to be able to maintain possession of the ball and have good drives and come away with points, which we didn't come up with in the first drive. No reason not to come up with points in the first drive, okay? Changes everything about the game. You know, special teams, allowing them to have extra possessions. You're going to put that quarterback back on the field that many times, okay? And then offensively, just some mistakes. There's, like I said, I won't go into it. There's 3 different third down plays where we schematically should be in great shape, and we're just not executing, okay? And we're going to go over that stuff in film today as an offense, you know, where it's like, man, this is a play we run every day, all right? And we've got to execute the play better, okay? So maybe I need to simplify some stuff and just work on certain things over and over and over and over and over and over and times 10 to get them to do that. So whatever that takes, we're going to get there. I can promise you that. But you can tell I'm, you know, it's some of it is we just got to go play better with confidence. Now, if y'all got a magic bottle and you can tell me how do I pour confidence into a person, I've been pretty decent at it over my career, but at the same time, you're confident because you're prepared. You're confident because you go out and do things well, okay? And we do things well at times, you know, but we don't do it at a rate to win a playoff game right now. That's all I care about. I want to be a playoff team. Okay, I want to be a team that plays for championships. All right, that's how I'm wired. That's all I know. Okay, and right now we're not doing that. So I got to find new ways to do things and get people going in the right direction. But you know, a lot of people say, well, it's early in the season. It's just one. That's fine. Not pit and panic button at the same time. There needs to be a little bit of, hey man, we got to get our crap together and go. Okay, and that's what I think they understand. They know me well enough to know that that's what's going to be the expectation this week, to get better, to go play our very best game versus VMI in all 3 phases and play complementary football like it should be played.
Coach, what do you think you guys did well, at least in those 2 drives in the middle where you were able to go down and score? I mean, 8 of your 10 possessions were 5 plays or less on the offense. Mm-hmm. So what did you do well in those 2 drives that, okay, maybe you can build off of this?
Well, the first drive was a long drive that we came away with no points. So I think there's probably 3 drives where it's like, man, we really put some things together. Now, we already talked about the first drive. Right before the half, the kids just, you know, we had a sack to start off with. Everybody took a deep breath. We hit a screen, got Dev, you know, 5 or 6 yards. Then one of our base throws, a curl to the field, we hit, and Ty breaks a tackle and takes it down the sideline. Okay, the next play, quarterback steps from the pocket, doesn't see anything, takes off for another 19 yards. The one before the half, I mean, Nate will tell you, we hadn't worked on that in a month. And I said, look, I want to put these 2 guys over here. We're going to run this concept. If this isn't there, throw it there. Okay, and they executed it. Okay, Carter threw a perfect ball. Dev and Ty were both into the boundary. One was running a bender, one was running a fade. Okay, they squeezed the bender. The corner didn't quite back up on the fade. He threw a perfect ball to Ty right there. Okay, boom, we scored a touchdown. Okay, we come in the second half, and Carter made some plays with his legs. He actually, I think we overcame about a 3rd and maybe 25 with his legs. So it wasn't like it was a perfect drive, but we made some play. Making plays is important now. Okay, making plays, making throws, making catches, breaking tackles. Okay, then we seemed like we had 3 straight runs, boom, boom, we ran a power read, and we executed that one really well, and Carter scored a touchdown. You know, after that, it was tough sledding. It was just one person here. When you turn on film of football and you're not having success, it's generally one thing each play, because you got to have 11 guys doing the right thing. That's what's great about the game. You have to rely on each other. So when we put drives together, we did some good things. We wanted to run the football. You know, we ran the ball better against Furman than anybody else has. I think we had 170 yards, 175 yards rushing, but we had 26 yards in lost plays with the sacks. Okay, so our goal was, let's get at least 175 yards rushing. That gives us a chance to win. But the inconsistency of it just didn't allow us to continue to have drives that were sustained. So, my memory's pretty good though, isn't it? It's just, yep. So, yeah.
You say it's not panic mode, but when you lose a game like this against a team that is possibly a playoff team, what goes through your mind? Like, what do you have to change? What something has to go? I know it's not panic mode, but something has to click. That something's got to change. What is that? Have you gotten your finger on it yet?
I've got my finger on a lot of things. Okay, it's not, but it is. Intensity needs to be doubled down on. Commitment needs to be doubled down on. Okay, when you get back in the corner and things aren't going well, are you going to really stick to the things you believe in? Okay, stick to the values, to the fundamentals of the program. Our values are love, compete, believe. Are our kids going to love each other enough to get better because they care about each other? Are they going to compete their tail off? We compete well sometimes, and then we don't at other times for whatever reason. And then are we going to believe in these processes like Coach talked about? Everything we're doing is process driven. Okay, you have to go, if you want to be good here, then you got to do these processes all these other days so that you can have success here. Okay, or are we just going to think, because we were good before and we got a lot of people back, are we just going to automatically be good now? Now it's hitting them like cold water in the face. It doesn't exactly work that way. You got to earn the right to win every day. All right, so I expect our guys to come out today and practice like they're trying to earn the right to be good on Saturday. And so we got to pick up the intensity there. We got to pick up the understanding. Maybe we just had cold water thrown in our face this Saturday. I hope that's the case. I hope our players understand that if you want to win a conference championship, you got to play at a conference championship level every day. You got to sleep at night like a conference champion. You got to eat breakfast in the morning like a conference champion. Okay? Then you might be one. It takes you doing that just to give you the chance to be one eventually. So hopefully this message is going to our leadership council, okay, which I'm going to be meeting with later today. All right, we're going to be talking through some of these things because it still is process driven. It's about getting everybody headed in the same direction, instilling confidence in them, but they got to instill confidence in themselves by the way they prepare.
Now looking at VMI, I mean, you guys have a few days now, and you say build that confidence. What do you have to do this week to kind of get them ready for this VMI game and just let's hit the ground kind of fresh and keep running?
Well, schematically, we want to put them in, good situations, okay? We want to have a good scheme versus what they're doing, at VMI to give our guys a chance to get a hat on a hat offensively, to get a chance to get a hat in a gap defensively and have good coverages, to do well special teams wise, to flip fields and to have a chance to have good returns and be solid, to kick field goals, not get them blocked, okay? And just work. The details, like Coach talked about, having attention to detail. There's no magic formula. There's not. You got to work to win. So we got to focus on those things every day.
What does VMI bring to the table for Saturday?
I tell you, watching them play, I like them. I say in a respectful, they got the kids playing hard with some confidence. They're, like I said, they're leading the conference statistically in defense. Now, I don't know how many great offenses they played against. You got to take it all with, but still at the same time, it's when you only let somebody score 12 or score 13. I think they've had 3 games where, they've been under 21. I mean, that's hard to do against anyone. So they're playing really good defense. Like I said, it seems to me when you're playing the military school, whether they're running triple option or whether they're running spread, there's a certain mentality that they have of toughness because of what they're going through on a daily basis. When they get to football practice, that's their fun time, okay, because of what they've been doing the rest of the day. I think it might be good for all of us to go through that occasionally. All of us need to maybe go work on a farm for a month, or go do military something for a month so you just appreciate where you're at and what you got and how good your life is. So those kids get to go through that every day. So there's a certain toughness and a certain effort that they bring to the table, and that's what I see on film.
Coach, you got someone here to talk to Ken afterwards that do a feature story on. Talk about the type of player and person that Ken Standley is and what he brings to your team.
Ken's one of my favorite kids I've ever coached, because he's a guy who, I was a walk-on. Ken came here as a walk-on. I got a lot of respect for somebody who comes in just wanting an opportunity. He was a safety when we first got here. He got bigger, and we put him in the linebacker, and he's a good football player. And he's not a walk-on anymore. So he is a starter in the SoCon caliber player. He's a leader. He's already a graduate. He's already graduated with a degree in public health, working on his MBA. So he's a great student, great person. He is a guy who has some maturity about him. Like, he's a kid that I'll bring him in my office, just ask him what he thinks about stuff, because I think I'm going to get a mature answer from a person within the program, that kind of understands what I'm trying to do as a coach, but I can also get a pulse of what's going on with the team, and there's going to be some wisdom in some of the things he tells me. He's got a great mom, a hardworking mom. She runs her own medical. What is that? Is it Ken? She runs her own medical. She was a nurse, but she runs her own.
So she's a nurse practitioner.
Yep.
Practice.
Right, so she's running her own thing now, okay, and just, comes from South Georgia, good hard-nosed stuff down there in Ware County, but I trust him, and I know he's going to give us everything he's got with a great attitude, and if everybody's like that, you don't make as many mistakes out there on that field, okay, so I'm proud of him.
I'm going to test your memory a little bit. Test your memory again. The conversation after your first year here, when his name came up for the scholarship list, how quick was that conversation?
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
When that first spring, when we were playing the COVID season, part of me tried to block a lot of that out. It was so much fun. But see, the spring was fun, and we're playing the Citadel, so I think we had, obviously we'd not been a very good team that fall, and we had lost to Wofford the first week, and we were playing Citadel at home. And it was our first win. It was my first win as a coach here. And I come to find out at the end of the game, he played his tail off. He's got like a broken wrist and a sprained MCL. Never said nothing to nobody. Okay, well, that's pretty tough. And he was out there making plays not against air raid, against people coming right at his face the whole game. Okay, so I knew then, I was like, that kid right there, when kids will go out there and play with that kind of toughness, there's some injuries you can't play with. Don't get me wrong. You can't, if you got a broken leg, you can't play. But a lot of people wouldn't have played like that, beat up like he was, and we never even knew he was hurt till after the game. So I think he played the rest of spring with a daggum thing on his wrist and some chicken wire holding his leg together, and so that's just a good, tough, solid kid right there.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. Thank y'all.
Well, Ken, you gave you a good intro. Ken Standley, starting linebacker for us. Can you just give an opening statement about how you felt the team did on Saturday and what kinds of things you're looking forward to in practice this week?
Like Coach said, I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. I see there's a lot of potential in what we got as a team, but the thing is, I see the potential, but getting everybody else to see the potential. It's no good if I'm the only one who can see it. But I feel like Coach said, this week it seemed like we had too many wake-up calls. I'm tired of wake-up calls, but I think there's a certain sense of urgency that needs to take place, and I feel like guys finally understand that for the most part. Like we said, the game didn't go our way. We didn't capitalize on a lot of opportunities, but I feel like we're looking forward to bouncing back this week against VMI.
Ken, as one of the leaders on this defense, how do you go about talking to your guys, being real with them about what the potential is of this group and what you guys need to change? Is it a little bit of tough love sometimes?
Yes, sir. It's a little bit of tough love, and like from the past, you kind of see how we kind of had success, and that kind of gives them some belief. But like Coach said, we can't go off past success. You have to earn what you want each and every day. You got to live in the present. So sometimes it's just getting guys to like continuous motivation on a daily basis, because it's football, you got school, you got everything else. It's gonna get gruesome, it's gonna get tiresome sometimes, but once you can see the end result, we come so close year in and year out. You know what it looks like, and you know what it takes to get there. And sometimes it's just telling those guys who may not have been there, freshmen, who may not know what it feel like to go to those limits, just making them realize what it takes to get to that point. So sometimes it's got to be some tough love, because sometimes they don't want to do it, but either you get with it or get lost for the most part.
And when you guys come off a game like that, the opportunity to get right back to it today and prepare for another opponent, you feel like there's a little extra fire lit under the defense now?
Yeah, I do. There's nothing else we can do about the last game but learn from it, learn from our mistakes, and don't let them happen again, and just continue to focus on capitalizing on the opportunities that come our way, like third downs, getting off the field on third downs, not extending the drive any longer against a good offense like we just faced. Just capitalizing on opportunities is the biggest thing.
Better to have these tests earlier in the season than later, right? Get the cold water in your face now, get it over with. But what you guys learn defensively that needs to be changed soon?
Well, for our defense, our brand is basically centered around assignment-based football. And if you don't do your assignment, you can see some big plays can pop, anything can happen. But like I said, we're on assignment-based football, and when you don't do your job, bad things can happen. And it can be magnified against a good team like we just faced. But all in all, you have to read your keys, focus on your keys, and take like every play day in and day, like moment by moment. Coach Taylor always tells us it's 4 to 6 seconds each play of focus, and that's all you do. Then you reset, you get ready for the next play, 4 to 6 seconds. So it's all about focus for the most part. But yeah, focus and assignment to detail, attention to detail, so to speak.
You say you guys aren't discouraged, but realistically, what is the vibe like in the locker room? I know you want to say we're more motivated going forward, but realistically, what does it feel like in there right now? What's kind of the vibe with you guys?
I mean, after any loss, it's a kick to the gut. Nobody wants to lose. But realistically, we know there has to be a sense of urgency in order to get to where we're going and where we want to go. So, like I said, it hurts to lose, but you can't cry with spoiled milk. So you got to get back to work.
Thanks, Ken. Offensive lineman Nate Howard. Nate, why don't you talk about how you feel your unit's done so far this year, and some veterans you guys got on the offensive line that helps you?
Of course, things did not go our way Saturday at all. Coach Cronic sort of pinned this game on us this week, talking about, like he said, we wanted to establish a run. Like he said, we got 175, 180 yards in total offense, but we gave up, I think it was 3 sacks, which is never okay as an offensive unit, and especially as an offensive line. Myself and John Thomas, and Riley Adcock, we consider ourselves a veterans / leaders of the O-line. So we let that fall upon our backs. I gave up a sack in the game, and I put that on my back. That's my fault. And if I can't give Peavy the time, we know he's a weapon with his legs, with his arm, and if I can't give him the time to do what he needs to do, that's on me, not on him or the wide receivers as a running back or anyone else on the line. That's on me. But obviously, we just got to play better and get more efficient in what we're doing.
With a quarterback who's willing to use his feet, is there any sense of confidence that, hey, okay, we can maybe be a little better? Like when you have a quarterback who's willing to get out of there, how does it feel for you guys up front?
It makes it easier, yes, of course. But, I don't know if y'all don't come to practice, obviously, but Peavy can throw the ball very well. He can throw the ball downfield to Ty and Dev and all of them just as good as he can run the ball. So we know, personally, I would rather have a 50-yard play than a 10-yard scramble from Peavy. But the fact that he can, I know I have that factor in the back of my head that if I were to get beat on a block, I can just shove the guy past Peavy and he can run it for 10 yards if need be. So yes, that definitely does make it easier.
And outside of him, everyone had okay numbers rushing. I know you guys had 170, 75 yards rushing, but the running backs were still kind of just there. Carter did a great job, but What else do you think needs to get better up there up front for you guys to kind of open those holes?
I think a lot of it is more assignment-based than effort-based. And so I'm not going to get into the details of O-line, but bust those plays that are getting 4 or 5 yards. We want to bust those 20, 25 yards. And that's mainly the thing that we've got to focus on, is getting from those double teams up to the linebackers, potentially up to the safeties on plays where we're going outside and stuff like that. That's what will keep progressing our offense.
Same thing that I asked Coach. What do you think you guys did well in those 2 drives in the middle where you guys went down and got scores?
We executed. Obviously, like I said, PV's got an arm. He can throw the ball just as well as he can run it. The offensive line, Furman's got a solid defensive front, as we talked about. I think we held up pretty well. I know I came out on that drive before the second half, hyperextended my elbow. Eli Edwards, my backup, he came in. He held it down. He did great. And I came back in, finished it up for the touchdown. And I just felt like the whole line as a whole, they had a twist game, a whole bunch of different stuff going. No real blitz on that drive, but we picked up everything as we should. That's what allowed PV to be able to stretch that drive out to Ty and Dev and everyone we threw it to.
Now looking forward to VMI. What do you guys have to do, Coach? So they're pretty strong defensively so far. What is kind of your goal this week and to get ready for Sunday?
Like I said, get on those linebackers. That's we want to be able to make the short plays turn into long plays and the long plays turn into touchdowns. So, yes, we've heard VMI has a good defense. Yes, we knew Furman had a good defense. And that's not really something that they have a good defense. We worry more about ourselves. If we can get ourselves against anyone we play to get off those double teams, get up to the linebackers, we'll know that our players in the backfield and behind us, they'll make any play turn into a long play.
Yeah, you were clearly a guy that believed in what Coach Cronic was doing here, coming, different program, coming back closer to home. Mm-hmm. Is there a little more fire under everybody this week, knowing what this group is capable of doing?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we've known from the jump back over the summer. We had leadership council. We met every week, and our number one goal, every meeting, he'd ask about our goals. Number one was win the SoCon. So knowing that that's still on the table and that's what we want to do, of course there's a fire, and that just this last week, sure it hurts, it sucks, but now we know that this is a have to. We cannot keep losing. We have to get better. So yes, there is a much bigger fire under us now than there was before.
Now you played here locally at Mercer. Just the bigger picture, what is it like to be able to represent your school, your community? You're playing major college football. You're pretty much going around here from Mercer. So.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm an MP dog forever. I love my high school. It's awesome to see you here too, by the way. But it's great. I love representing Middle Georgia. I love Forsyth. Like y'all know, I went to Mobile, Alabama. I went to South Alabama for a year. It wasn't for me. I love Middle Georgia. So I left there, came back. I mean, it's awesome. I go up to high school. My little brother plays football up there right now. He's a long snapper and a tight end. So getting to go back and give back to my program, just everyone I love. My head coach is still there, Coach Nelson. Love him to death. My O-line coach, he went to Rutland. He came back to MP. I love all those guys to death, and it's awesome being able to go back and see everyone, and everybody's like, Big Nate, how's it going at Mercer? It's great.
And you've been through some injuries, and here you are starting, so you must be pretty. I know it's not a good week to ask this question after loss, but you must be pretty excited.
No, it's special for sure. I mean, I love football. Getting injured always sucks. Like in high school, I broke my femur, and it was a nasty thing, and they told me I probably would not play football again when I had the surgery. Wound up, I came back 12 weeks later. I'm playing round 4 of the playoffs against Woodward my junior year, and from there I just really having football taken away from you like that and being able to get it back just means more to be able to keep playing the game you love. It's awesome.
Well said. Good.